What is your name and where are you located?
So my name is Lucas and I'm located in the Irish branch of Eliatra.
When did you join Eliatra?
I've been at the company for 2 months, started in March of 2024, and I am a junior machine learning engineer.
How are the first 2 months going?
Oh, it's been wonderful. It's been learning a lot of the kind of OpenSearch infrastructure, a platform that I never used before. And kind of the tools and using Docker, getting my own kind of nodes and clusters, security permissions and certificates and everything set up. And ultimately, further down the line, part of my training has been learning about machine learning as kind of a subsection of the industry, training models, and what sort of tools OpenSearch offers to facilitate large language models or machine learning techniques. So.
Can you describe your typical workday?
I turn on my PC, I look at my code for 2 minutes, I go get another coffee, and after that I'm ready to kind of dive into a lot of research. It's, machine learning especially, it's something that has really exploded in the last few years, and a lot of the workday is theory, and then putting that theory into practice, trying to build things out of ever-moving targets, Yesterday's libraries, or today's libraries are just yesterday's just garbage, or tomorrow's garbage, because things are just always changing, always updating. There's always a new tech stack to utilize with it. So.
What AI LLM capabilities does OpenSearch currently have?
Today, it's growing. Right now its range is, I would say, pseudo-limited. You can plug in a number of models that do a number of different things. You have text embedding models, sparse encoding models, conversational search engines, a list of we'll call them like whitelisted engines that you can connect directly to your cluster so that you can have it interact with your data. And right now it offers kind of the things that most people looking to get into machine learning would want, which is vectorizing your data, using it for RAG pipelines, using neural search, hybrid searches, and kind of just ways of interacting with your data a little more efficiently.
Can you describe how large language models can be integrated into OpenSearch to improve search query understanding?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that I kind of work with closely would be the kind of neural search capabilities. Now, they are large language models, more so they're text embedding models than large language, but they allow you to take your textual data, even your audio and image-based data, convert it to a set of vector embeddings, and then store those vectors as properties within your documents. Then you can use things like semantic search or similarity search and neural search to more effectively query the context of your data and maybe find patterns in your data that you wouldn't have been able to do before with something as basic as maybe like a classic keyword search. With large language models, you can even start building connectors to plug conversational engines into your databases and query your databases in a completely natural language format, which is something that's super exciting for offering kind of products to non-technical people, because every business is generating some amount of data, and that data obviously is stored somewhere, and sometimes you want to draw meaning from it. And that can be hard if you're not from a database-based or analytics-based background, but large language models can help bridge that gap.
What are the potential benefits of embedding LLMs into the indexing process of OpenSearch?
So in the indexing process, there isn't a whole lot I would recommend in the use of maybe like conversational LLMs. That I still think has a ways to go, but definitely there are benefits to implementing along your kind of ingest pipeline a text embedding model or a sparse encoding model that, as I said, breaks your textual data or even your image or video into these vector-sized chunks. And then these chunks can be stored effectively within the OpenSearch infrastructure. And then when you query your data further on, you then vectorize your own query. It does kind of like a similarity or semantic KNN, using the KNN algorithm to match your query to the most relevant documents in your data, and then returns maybe the top top 3 or top 10, depending on what you want, documents. and it can allow you to very effectively find new patterns in your data that you may not have found before.
What challenges do you foresee in integrating LLMs with OpenSearch?
So the biggest one, and I'm sure many people who work with kind of the technology would agree, is embedding especially conversational LLMs or something that is able to infer based on data. The big problem is hallucinations. So LLMs, especially conversational ones, have a habit of and have been trained to always give you an answer. Even if they don't know the data, they always want to give you an answer, and generally they want it to be a positive one. They want the user to have a positive experience. This leads to, at least in the context of LLMs, a feature or a bug known as hallucinations, where it returns to you data that it has completely made up on the fly. It generates data that could be generally considered untrue. And this can pose a lot of problems for maybe businesses who are working with sensitive data, data that needs to be correct. Maybe you're doing a financial report, or you're trying to do your sales numbers at the end of the month. If you're using a conversational LLM and it's not able to access your data appropriately, or God forbid, it just starts making up data, unless you're able to accurately pinpoint where it's going wrong, you could end up in a very sticky situation and present incorrect data and not know the difference between the two.
What are the current limitations of vector search in OpenSearch?
So currently, for me, the big limitation has been the level of integration that we have with current remote models and LLMs into OpenSearch itself. As I mentioned before, there's a whitelist. There's a series of maybe 8 text and sparse encoding models available on OpenSearch, and maybe 2 remote connectors to conversational agents, specifically ChatGPT and the Claude Amazon Bedrock's model. And this can be quite limiting from a privacy and cost point of view. If you're wanting to infer context on your data using maybe a RAG pipeline to one of these LLMs, you need to make an account, you need to foot a cost for every 1,000 tokens in an API cost, and most importantly, the data that you send out to it is being sent to these companies to either be used in their training data or God knows what. So that's a big problem, I think, for a lot of companies, a lot of products maybe that want to start using, the big buzzword around the tech industry at the moment, which is these AI and these LLMs. These privacy and cost considerations need to be taken into account. One, for me, I would love to just see, an increase in these locally hosted models that a business could set on their own servers. The data never escapes within that pipeline, and they could do it with a peace of mind.
Are there plans for future enhancements or new features related to vector search in upcoming OpenSearch updates?
I would absolutely say yes. I think it's something that is really growing every week, every month, and even just being here at the conference around, everyone has something prepared on either what they're wanting to work on in the AI space or what they would like to see. And obviously it's something that's very exciting and people are wanting to see more of it. So absolutely, I do think that there's more.
What personal qualities do you think are essential for someone working in your field?
Curiosity, absolutely. Curiosity is a huge thing because it's such a relatively new subsection of the industry to have exploded out, and there's so much content, blogs, articles, videos, new frameworks, new tech stacks being released every day, every month. Your ability to be able to even sometimes put aside a project that you're working on in order to catch up and read and be curious about what the next thing that someone is working on that you might be able to implement into your own product is incredibly important. On top of that, it is very much the understanding and the willingness to be wrong. Sometimes you're going to work on a solution using an existing product that you're going to get through it and you're going to realize this is either outdated or it's not going to work in the way that I want it to. And the ability to take away learning from how far you might have gotten and then implement that into the next project, I think is very important. So learning not to be defeated and being very curious, I think, is 2 things that would go for.